What's going on, everyone? Charlie here. We're going to be debunking some more FUD today that's going around the internet, of course. And as always, it starts on Twitter, ends up on YouTube, and then finds its way over to Superstonk from Reddit, and then the whole gang gets together and churns out this hype narrative. So, where did this all come from? Well, I came across this claim from a Tom Zuzolo video, an obvious snake oil salesman that I have made videos on in the past. Let's go ahead and look into some of his claims, and we're going to actually look into SEC Rule 602, and you might actually learn something that actually is relevant in this video, so stay tuned. So, SEC Rule 602, let's go ahead and get into what we are debunking and the claims being made in question.
Alright everybody, we got some massive news here today. Huge new rule just got proposed from the SEC, published here today. Now this is the comment period of this rule. This means it's not official yet, but what this could be is something very relevant to the stock market.
Okay, so right off the bat, and I only got 15 or 20 seconds into the video or so before I realized that he has no clue what he's talking about. So let's go through it. So first of all, he said that this is a proposed rule. This is not a proposed rule. Regulation NMS Rule 602 has been around since 2005, 2006, around that time. And this is a comment request for an extension of Rule 602, meaning the exemption that was granted to them in part last year and many other times in the past. So again, Rule 602 is not new. It has not recently been proposed by the SEC, and this is simply a collection request for an extension of Rule 602. Also, if you read more into the filing, and I believe this was actually shown on screen in the video while he was making these claims, it is anticipated that 25 respondents consisting of 24 national securities exchanges and 1 national securities association will collectively respond approximately 19,093,000. Oh, wow. That's more than a million. Sorry. 19 trillion 93 billion 703,801,315 times per year. So, again, they're going to collectively respond 19 trillion times per year pursuant to Rule 602A at 18.22 microseconds per response, resulting in a total annual time burden of approximately 96,625 hours. Now, again, key line in this filing. It is anticipated that no respondents will have a reporting burden pursuant to Rule 602B. So they're telling you right there, we don't even have to go any further. You don't even have to know what Rule 602B is to know that the video that you just watched and everything going around on Reddit, it's not at all anything relevant. It's just an OMB, which is the Office of Management and Budget, collection request, which they anticipate no respondents will have a reporting burden pursuant to the rule being discussed. Thus, the aggregate third-party disclosure burden under Rule 602 is approximately 96,625 hours annually, which is comprised of 96,625 hours relating to Rule 602A and 0 hours relating to Rule 602B, which is the one that's relevant. When was SEC Rule 602 even approved? Well, again, if we go look at the history of this, its effective date was first August 29th, 2005. So, again, this is not a new rule. This has been governed by 17 CFR Parts 200, 201, 230, 240, 242, 249, and 270 for quite some time. And it does have to deal with dissemination and quotation of quotes, but the claim being made in the video about the SEC admitting something as far as this, that is absolutely absurd and, in my opinion, intellectually dishonest, because the only way that you get something this wrong is if you're on YouTube and you need viewers. Also, as far as Rule 602, September 30th, 2021, IEX Exchange, the people like David Lauer, who also like to appease to the ape emotion by regurgitating false information and not letting you know as much as he should let you know, they actually got an order that granted approval of Investors Exchange from a limited exemption from Rule 602. And also, the SEC grants out these exemptions all the time. So to sit there and say the SEC is admitting this and that, that's not the case whatsoever. Rule 602 is not new. It's not relevant to AMC, GME, or Citadel. Not a new proposed rule whatsoever. The SEC did not admit anything as claimed in the video. So again, stop allowing yourself to be sold by those YouTubers who haven't put in work. You people got to understand. You have to understand. There is literally an incentivization, and there's never been a greater one, for snake oil salesmen, people who are lazy in life, who don't work, who don't have anything to offer. They now have an avenue to go online, start making videos, say whatever they want, lure in viewers, and then garner views, which pays them money. So not only is it misinformation, we are incentivizing snake oil salespeople to go around the internet and pass around complete dog shit with no evidence that it's easily debunked, and they rile up a bunch of people, get them all emotional, thinking it's true. This is a big problem, and everyone's allowing this to happen. You only live once. You need to realize the time in your life is now being given to these people who don't care to return value for that time, which is why now I'm going to provide you some value in this video by giving you some brief history and why the SEC is not admitting anything regarding dark pools. The SEC is not helping the markets get better, and the SEC is complacent, has been complacent, and is a part of the overall problem and has been for some time. Now, some brief history. This was released on July 30th, 2007. So you may wonder, where did FINRA come from? Well, before FINRA, there was an entity called the NASD, and on 2007, July 26th, this became effective, which was the Member Regulation Combine forms the Financial Industry Regulatory Authority, which is FINRA. Basically, the NASD and NYSE merged to make FINRA. FINRA was created through consolidation of NASD and the member regulation, enforcement, and arbitration operations of the New York Stock Exchange. This consolidation, which was announced on November 28, 2006, and approved by the SEC, became effective today, July 30th, 2007. So again, this was approved by the SEC. The SEC approves the crime, and then they get paid to find the crime from the mid to small players. You never see big players get fined. It's only FUD in the news. Now, we have NASD with NYSE, and this is not NASDAQ, so don't get that confused. These merge to form FINRA. Now we have FINRA and the NYSE. Now, there is a way to show just how fragmented the markets have been, and the SEC is fully aware of this because this is publicly available information. If you go to if you go to SIBO.com and you look at their market share graph and you compare venues and select all of the venues, these are all the venues here. There are 16 lit exchanges on this list. There's only 16 lit exchanges that exist in the market. And if we check all those exchanges and we compare the market share and we look at the chart, you can clearly see there is a monopoly of order flow and paired volume, and there is zero, basically, market share going into the lit exchanges. According to many SEC filings that I've covered on this channel, no lit market possesses more than 16% market share. That is a huge problem. Now, when you drill down on this data further, you can see that the two biggest entities on this list are the NASD ADF facility and the FINRA NASDAQ TRF Carteret facility. These are alternative trading facilities. This is the trade reporting facility. This is your alternate display facility. There's only two participants registered on the ADF, which is JP Morgan and Jane Street. So, when it comes to order flow and prices not being correct, that's just the way the market works. And again, the market makers and the other parties involved have no reporting obligation to admit anything. So again, please be careful with where you spend your time. And I know I make these videos a lot because no one else is doing it. How many of you are going to go back to Tom Zuzolo and ask him about this, or hold them accountable for putting out this, I believe, purposefully false information to gather views. That's the motive behind all of these people, making them not hard to figure out. Now, you may ask yourself, well, you're a YouTuber, Charlie. How are you any different? Because I'm telling you what no one else is. I'm going against the narrative. I'm putting in a little bit more work to do so, and I'm hopefully teaching somebody something out there, or at least to not rely on these people that give zero shits about the information they're telling you. They just want you to keep watching their channel. They just want you to keep smashing that like button, and they keep wanting you to hit that bell and all that bullshit that I also never say. But again, I'm going to keep doing this. I'm going to keep fighting this nonsense until people wake up and realize that you're giving your time away to people who are basically stealing it, and you're exchanging that precious, precious time for false information. We got to be smarter, people. And for every one of you that I save, I mean, a lot of you out there may be like, this guy's crazy. No one listens to him. I get 1 or 2 people that trickle in on a weekly or daily basis, and that's all that matters to me. There's that one person that wakes up and says, hey man, you were right, or hey man, you opened my eyes. That's what I do this for. So again, be careful.